I started shopping for on-air signs today. Since I
How
got the
much do those
desk
cost?
now, there's a few different options. They range from between $20 to $30, depending on how fancy you want to get. They also have ones you can get made custom for like 50 or 60. I don't think I'm ready for a custom one yet. I think I'm going to go old school, just your basic, you know, light up on air.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's not a lot of money for custom.
No, it's really not. It's pretty impressive. But
So, what were your after hour topics that you had written
oh,
down?
oh, I was thinking about um when we were talking about how like in places like New York, everything's there, and so people don't really move outside of their 1 block radius since it's all right there. And it's something that's been on my mind a lot. I've had this conversation with my son a couple of times actually about how interesting. Sometimes I'll say it's weird, but it's really not that weird. I just think it's interesting how humans used to be nomadic. We used to be roving bands of tribes moving from place to place. So you would think being nomadic is in our genes. And yet, the instant, the moment, the second we developed agriculture and didn't have to be nomadic anymore, we will fight to the death to not go back. we we will plant our flag on our homestead. We will draw the lines around the borders of our country. We will put up the picket fence. This is my house. I am never fucking leaving again. How dare you? Like it's like
I
we
don't know how true that is about the former nomadic nature. I feel like food sources was like something that humans always went to.
but
Like,
that's the
yeah, sure,
question, isn't it?
nomadic tribes throughout history, 100%. But once you found safety, I feel like it's part of like human nature, animal nature. It's part of
Well, I
instinct.
mean, even if it was like kind of we would have like set places. Like I remember what was it? There is a street I saw this girl give this talk once. There's a about a street in Boston. It's this kind of like 4 lane highway through the middle of downtown Boston. And apparently it's a road that's been there for like a few thousand years because even before it was Boston and before they paved it as a road, it was a beaten down walking path because it was the path that the tribes who lived in that area walked back and forth between their summer tribe location and their winter tribe location. And so they
Okay.
always walked to the same path between these two kind of seasonal locations where their tribes lived,
Well, yeah.
and
What
they
was it
had beat
before America? Like before the white man came here, wasn't it like 30 million Native Americans were actually throughout?
something like that, close to that. Yeah, I do not remember the exact number either, but yes, it was in the tens of millions for sure. Yes, but yeah, so it's like, well, maybe sure we did have like go where the food is kind of thing. We still had a sort of sense of like impermanence in where we lived. We did have a traveling part of us, and we did migrate. I mean, like it's known that our species started in Africa and then spread out, in a sort of like migratory way. Sometimes finding a place where we could stick around, sometimes not. But that's the thing is like I find it interesting that we did spend thousands upon thousands of years traveling to where the food source was, wherever we needed to be at the time. And then once we developed the ability to not have to, we like it is a vicious need to not move for a lot of folks.
That is, I
I've met
mean, I got people directly in my family that they will not go 100 miles from where they live.
right, exactly.
Trying to get them to visit me on any one of my adventures, like impossible. No, I see that there are people who do. Well, real quick, we got some questions coming in from subscribers.
Mm,
So what we're doing now is we finished up the show. We were talking about the movies earlier. This week we were talking about the rundown and deconstructing Harry. But after we have like the organized channel stuff, all that, we just kind of whatever subscribers want to talk about, whatever is going on, whatever's
yeah,
on your mind, let
a
us
little
know.
decompression chat. Yeah,
Yeah, just kind of hanging out and chatting after the show.
Apparently
But I
this week
appreciate the
we all get to.
subscribe. But
Apparently
what's going on with
this
your
week
eyes,
we all
man?
get. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Apparently this week we all get to watch me have an allergy outbreak for some reason. Like my eyes are itching like hell for some reason.
About to say,
Don't know what
Rundown
it is.
wasn't that funny, and Deconstructing Harry wasn't quite that emotional.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Just itchy as hell for some reason, all of a sudden.
Hey, man, spring's coming. That's how it goes.
Oh yeah, that's probably something to do with it.
No, so a few of the topics that I have ready that we have talked about on the show that we designated for later.
Mm.
Tickling. You mentioned that you broke up with a woman one time because she went like this to you.
I didn't.
Is
I
that
didn't
a
break
real
up.
thing?
I didn't break up with her. I threatened to break up with her. And she accepted those terms and stopped. And so we stayed together for a little while longer.
So because of that, I had my own little tickle story.
Okay.
So there was I have 1,000 of them, but one in particular that really kind of got me going. I was doing an acting class in Los Angeles, and one of the things, like, they had these actors in school and class, all that. You got these little games. You go back and forth.
Sure. Yeah.
One of the things was in this scene, me and this actor had to sit back to back, and it was a very flirty scene, kind of challenging, back and forth. So anytime the power went from one character to the other, that person tickled the other person. Now, what nobody knew about me is I am insanely ticklish. Like, the sound that comes out of me is not a natural noise. Like, with how deep my voice is, you wouldn't expect it to go that far. But that's how I learned that I can sing like Michael Jackson.
Okay.
I'm in this class, and we start. And the very first time I'm sitting there, I'm already laughing. I'm chuckling. I'm nervous. I'm sweating. But the very first one, I'm like, and we're sitting on the ground. I pop up like 2 feet off the ground. And just, No, I don't think I'd ever made anybody in this class laugh. By the time we were done with that scene, there was not a single person that was able to remain in their chairs. Everybody was watching me squealing and squeaking. And
nice.
The person who was my partner is this Russian singer, outstandingly beautiful, very, very powerful voice. Like, I was in this class and I was like, wait a minute, why are you in this class with me? I'm literally absolutely nobody. You post anything and you get like millions and millions of views, and like, you are already successful. Why are we in the same class together? So I was already nervous doing a scene with this person.
Right, yeah.
And then this is what they wound up having me do. I walked out of there in so much shame. I couldn't. I got up and I just like sauntered back to my chair and I sat down and I was like, don't look at me. Just don't look at me.
Yeah, all you had to do was play it up that was a choice.
That was not a choice. It was very, very clear to anybody, and that was why it was so damn funny to everybody, because they're like, no, that man would not make that noise unless he was getting paid or something. There's no way. No, that I understand how funny it is. It still sucks to be me in that situation.
No, I feel you. I understand. Yeah, I get you there.
Because, like, I love making people laugh. That's like my number one thing. Like, that is the number one feel good thing is making people laugh. So having that moment and seeing everybody losing their minds on this.
Yep.
It felt good. It did not feel good.
Yeah. No, I understand. I've been there for sure.
Next topic I had was Raimi and the Evil Dead franchise.
Yeah.
Because, my God, Ash versus the Evil Dead was a perfect installment.
It was ridiculously good. That was one of those. We have a few of those. That and Cobra Kai are two like resurrection series that are 1,000 times better than they have any fucking right to be.
And thank God Cobra Kai is on Netflix, because that is why we did not get more Ash versus Evil Dead. You know why that show got canceled?
Why?
Pirates.
Really?
It was the number one downloaded show. It was the number one pirated show. But because of the fact that nobody wanted to sign up for a Stars subscription to watch this show, that is why it got canceled, because too many pirates. That sucks.
I'm gonna, you know, I gotta call
that's
bullshit
because
on that.
if that would have been no, well, no, 100%. Who wants to sign up for Stars?
That's the thing.
If it would have been on Prime, if it would have been on Netflix, if it would have been on HBO, any one of the regular subscribed streaming services, it would have continued going because so many people have those services. The money was already coming in. It was supposed to be a draw for Stars, but it just nope.
I understand. Yeah. I get that, but that's the thing is like it's. How do I put this? I have never personally, like, while I can understand where the frustration lies, where, you know, if as a creator, if someone's, you know, going to get the free version of it without giving you your due, I absolutely get that. I understand that 100%. At the same time, I don't buy that the downloaders are the reason why it didn't make it. Because I personally
completely buy that. Why or what? What's your disbelief?
My disbelief is to do with the fact that I am quite certain that that money wouldn't have come in anyway. Even if like pirating wasn't possible, if it was technically not possible, they still would not have made that money. I genuinely, truly believe in my heart of hearts that everyone out there who is pirating media are doing it because they don't have the money to spend and they want to see this stuff anyway. So these are not people.
I'm going to say that there's a portion. I'm not going to say it's that big of the portion. I'm going to say it's a convenience thing, and that's the biggest thing.
I know. I'm because here's the thing. Disney Plus is still making money, you know, and they've got just as many downloaders as anybody else, and they're the most expensive out of all of them, and they have the least to offer out of all of them. So
but this was a few years ago, so I don't know what has changed in between then and now. But that's lit. But this because Ash vs. Evil Dead came out the same time, or very, very shortly after I was working on beta test. And the thing that tanked Nick from being able to get money for another production was because his movie was technically successful, but only by the numbers of how many people downloaded it.
Okay, and that is a shame. And I'm sorry for that.
So I can see the exact same thing happening with a series that because I went for the week-long free trial for Stars just so I could watch it, and then we binged the hell out of that. But when I was looking on Stars for what else there was to watch, there wasn't anything to watch.
Yeah.
So if you were like looking at the catalog and stuff like that, you may have jumped on to watch Ash versus that one show, but there was nothing to keep you there. So that money, I mean, because that was one hell of an expensive show to make.
Yeah, well, but that's kind of the thing is what I'm saying is that I imagine most people probably if the piracy wasn't an option, if it wasn't technically possible, it probably would have ended the same way of people doing what you did of going for the free trial, binging it really fast and then letting it expire.
Well, what I'm saying is if it would have been on a different channel, if it would have been on a different streaming service, it wouldn't have been canceled.
Probably true, yes.
That's I'm
it probably
yeah.
Probably still would have been downloaded just as much though.
I don't know. Because so many people have Netflix that if it was on Netflix, there wouldn't have been any need to.
Also probably true, yes.
So I think it was more along those lines, and it really sucks too because even Bruce Campbell, like he posted on I don't know, some social media, but he was saying it's great, but we're done and everything like that, and like kind of did a little bit of a passive aggressive toss to how like crazy dedicated the fans are.
Yeah,
it's like you guys are so dedicated, you're willing to break the law, but you know, buy the show next time. and you know, that sucks for how many times that must have happened because the thing is, if distribution was tough and the only way that you could get something like a lot of Nick's movies, you can only get them on video on demand.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Like the
And that
availability and the
is
distribution is really what kind of tanks them.
well, and yeah, and it's weird how like so many of these services are choosing not to do that because they want to be able to. I don't know if it's like a tax thing or they just want to hold on their properties. Like we talked about this before. I am still angry that Sword of Trust is not available on DVD. If there was a DVD of it, I would buy it, but there isn't. It's only available on like two streaming services, neither of which I have a subscription to,
Yeah,
and
but you
that pisses
count
me
for
off.
a notable percentage of that movie's fan base, and that's why that. Like there's a reason
It's a
that
good
one's kind of
movie.
fair.
Maybe if it was out on DVD, more people would have seen it by now. I'm just saying, you know. But
Maybe.
yeah, I mean that was the way it was
I
too.
mean,
Like I
I watched
remember,
it on Amazon Prime, so I mean, it's available. It's just
yeah.
I really I really doubt a lot of people are going to start that movie and finish it.
I mean maybe, yeah. You're probably not wrong. It's a tough one.
It's a love letter
Um,
to the director who got sick and was able to make the passion project that she wanted to make. The movie is beautiful for its own reasons in its own right. I just don't think it's a good movie.
okay. Well, we already hashed that discussion out several episodes ago,
Oh
but
yeah, that was
I
a whole
stand.
season ago.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I remember that even used to be like one of the saving graces, like some of these like TV shows, like what was like the Sopranos, like as successful as it was as a reason for people to sign up for HBO, the real money came in their DVD sales. Like when right before the new season would start,
Mm.
last season would come out on a box set DVD, and they would sell like mad every time, and that was where they really made their money. For some reason, nobody does that anymore. Now it's no, no, we're not putting it out as physical. We're keeping it as digital streaming, and we're going to keep it as a licensed deal instead of something you can
Well,
buy.
yeah, because the it's so much more affordable to do it that way. If you don't have to pay for the physical like media, man, the distribution on that becomes way, way more affordable. Which you got your pros and cons on that one.
Yeah,
Like, cause exactly what you're talking about. Like, because yeah, back in back in the day, like going to Blockbuster, budget, Hollywood Video,
hmm
something like that, you would see a movie on the shelf that had an actor that you would recognize, like Mark Maron,
yeah,
and you would pick it up and give it a chance. Not as much of a thing these days. At least
no, yeah,
not that I've been told, not that people have talked about with me. That seems to be something that's kind of in the past. You know what I mean?
yeah. Which is a shame because I think I'm trying to remember. I remember even hearing. I'm trying to remember which show it was, but I do remember hearing of a TV show that the only reason they weren't canceled was because their DVD sales were doing so well. Like no one was watching
Really?
the show when it's being broadcast, but whenever their DVDs came out, those were flying off the shelves, and so that's how they kept getting renewed. I'm trying to remember what show it was I'm thinking of that did that.
Yeah, I'd like to know what show that. I would like to know what show that was. No, but
Yeah,
like we talked about this a little bit before, like with the Evil Dead franchise. Like
right.
the perfect watch order of that is, and it kind of goes right in line with how good everything is. Actually, reverse. No, everything I'm saying is complete bullshit. I got to start this statement over.
Okay.
Army of Darkness is the best one.
Okay.
Then goes Ash versus Evil Dead, then Evil Dead 2, and you don't have to watch Evil Dead.
No. Okay. I would go the other way around because I mean for the same reason I was first introduced to the Evil Dead franchise through Army of Darkness, and so I think
Same.
if you're getting into it, that's a great place to start because it's got a better budget, it's more likable, it's easier to jump in, and then you go to Evil Dead 2 as your prequel story that leads up to this, gives you a little bit more of that, you know, why we love Bruce Campbell. You get plenty of it in
Sure, yeah.
you get plenty of it for sure in Army of Darkness, but it really comes out in Evil Dead 2 when he's having that argument with himself in the mirror. I mean, my God.
Okay. Okay, yes. But see, here's the thing. The reason why I think you should still start with Evil Dead 2 is
Hmm.
because that effect of the Deadite dancing, like doing the little ballet thing,
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
that warms you perfectly up for everything that is set to follow. And Bruce Campbell's reactions and his acting, like a lot of his comedy in Evil Dead 2, it lands. It
Hmm.
lands perfectly. None of it fails, but it only gets better. If you
Right.
watch Evil Dead 2 after either of the others, then you're gonna see a drop in quality, and I think that's gonna pull you out of the appreciation for it.
See, I would go the other way around because if you start with Evil Dead 2, because it's so kind of ad hoc as it is, you might not get all the way through it if you don't already know what comes after. Like an appreciation for knowing that it gets better, seeing Army of Darkness, seeing where it's going
Maybe
back
like
to
an
Evil Dead
episode
2.
of Ash versus Evil Dead.
Okay.
Maybe just you know what? Just showing. Oh God, what was that blue demon's name? Like
Oh, the one
Oligagus
with
or
the
something like
one that
that.
was
My
always kind of out of focus a
God.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, like every part of that thing was vibrating except its mouth. That
Yeah,
was
God,
one
that was
of the most
amazing.
creative decisions I have ever seen. That was incredible.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that sold the whole thing on me for sure. Yeah, it was
And they never
amazing.
did anything as good. That like none of the I mean, like the show itself, it never dropped in quality. Like it maintained, it had me entertained the whole time.
Right.
I was ready for the next episode every single time. But that blue demon,
That was
that
yeah,
was the
that was a
stuff of
peak.
nightmares. It you peak. There you go. That is the right word for that. That was wow. But then the way it ended, like the incredible like effects and stuff like that that was set up for that Mad Max style and
Mm,
like new like up
yeah.
like new season.
Yep.
I was all the way ready for that. And I
That would
got to
have been
say,
pretty cool. Yeah.
it would have been. They ended the series the exact way that they needed to. And that was the thing, like I squealed like I just got tickled. And like as soon as it closed up, I was like, say it, say it, say it. Groovy.
There you go.
Like
Yep.
that's the thing, man. Like there is a there's certain things like everybody has their loves, everything that they have that brings them joy. Bruce Campbell saying groovy is a thing that just that's one of
Yep.
mine.
Yep. I can see that.
I can't explain it. I cannot explain it. But just seeing it, it's like every time, like the zoom in and everything, and then you just get that like epic chin of his. Like, damn it, dude! I love that character, and I just. What's your favorite Evil Dead moment?
Oh, the mirror for sure. Yeah, in Evil Dead. I mean, granted, yes, I just basically said that Evil Dead 2 was. I haven't seen Evil Dead 1, but Evil Dead 2 is kind of the worst of
It's the
them.
first 20 minutes of Evil Dead 2.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, the bit like after the girlfriend gets possessed and he kills her, and then he goes to the mirror and tells himself everything's going to be okay, and then the Ash in the mirror reaches out and grabs him and says everything is not okay. We just chopped up our girlfriend in the woodshed. That to me is the greatest moment in all of cinema history, in my opinion.
I was sitting there joking with my buddy, and definitely like you gotta have the right buddy to joke with these kind of things about. But he was telling me, he's like, there's no white man that has ever gotten away with saying the N word like Leonardo DiCaprio in Django Unchained. And I had to go, have you seen Army of Darkness? And he's like, yeah, about 1,000,000 times. And I'm like, he's like, there's not. I'm like, mm-hmm. I'm just like, I just had that. He's like, I had to like remind him of the scene. He's like, when he goes up and he has to say those very specific chant when he takes the Book of the Dead off that altar. And he says
Right,
like,
yeah.
Ento meta. Crap, what was that word?
Right.
No, it was an N word. And he actually he pulls it off in a way that nobody ever even like mentions. It is like, dude, come
Never
on.
remembered it. Yeah, yeah.
No, because like that wasn't the point.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Like it is so crazy how he pulled that off, and nobody ever cared because that is not a movie that went away.
No, for sure. Yeah.
That is not like a Rachel Ray cooking episode from 20 years ago. Like that is like, how did you find this? No, this is freaking Army of Darkness. That's a movie that people watch on an annual basis.
Right, exactly. Yes.
I used to be one of them, and I swear to God, if I remember to watch it next year, I'm probably gonna be. Because the thing is, I just watched it last week. I kind of want to watch it again.
Right.
It's so ridiculous. It makes man. What are some other like Bruce Campbell gems? Because there was one that you were talking about where he played Elvis.
Oh yeah, Bubba Hotep.
Bubba Hotep. Yeah, I remember.
You've seen that, right? Yeah.
No, I actually went to check that out afterwards, and I realized that I hadn't seen that. I was thinking of something else. No, so there's a Bruce Campbell movie that he impersonates Elvis. I need to see this thing.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, no, that's the thing. It's like I remember when I said that I asked you. I said, Brad, it occurred to me that if I have not already shown you this movie, I'm a bad friend. I said that to you, and you were like, oh no, yeah, no, I know it, and I was like, oh, thank God. Now you're telling me no, it actually happened.
No, that's
Brad,
funny.
we're doing Bubba Hotep next week. That's
Okay,
it. That's
enough.
just okay. That's it. That's I
I
cannot.
need some more Bruce Campbell. I mean, I just do that. That feels like I'm totally on board with saying that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're doing Bubba Hotep next week, God, I need to come up with like what's a good comparison to go off of that.
Where's
my
list? Good question.
list?
Yeah, we had movies planned for next week. I guess we're going off that book now.
Yeah, no, hold on. I actually gotta dig in a little bit and
Okay.
Come on, for the viewers that we have, if you've seen Bubba Hotep, what's a good movie to go up opposite of Bubba Hotep? No,
what pairs with it like a fine wine?
Because I like the fact that our stuff is like different enough, so
Yeah.
I want to keep that theme. But I also know if we're covering a Bruce Campbell movie, I'm gonna have a lot to say. So I also kind of don't want to. Am I on the wrong notebook? No, it's the right notebook. I'm never leaving this page again. Oh my God. Holy, I found it. All right.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Ooh, Indian in the Cupboard.
Wow, I cannot think of a more opposite movie. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, I that was the first one I looked at, and I went, okay, I think I nailed it right there.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I remember reading the book as a kid. I do not remember if I've seen the movie or not.
I remember being absolutely amazed by the CGI on that one and how well they blended the worlds together. So
okay.
I'm really interested to see if that actually holds up. And I'm pretty sure it does, because in the same vein of The Borrowers, I was watching a video about like visual effects artists react to good and bad CGI.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Indian in the Cupboard.
I've seen clips of that.
Yeah, they started the whole episode kind of discussing Indian in the Cupboard and how incredibly amazing it still is. So I'm actually really excited to see how well that one holds up.
Okay, cool. All right.
Because I remember that being a very, very good movie. But I was also 8.
Right, yeah. See, that's the thing is I think I was 8 when I read the book. I remember really, really loving the book. I don't remember a fucking thing about it. Not a thing. Not
really.
Yeah.
Dude, weirdly, there's only one book that I cannot remember. I can almost remember nothing about it. It was a book called The Smoker, and the only thing that I can remember, this is blowing my mind this very moment. I cannot believe I did this. The way that I have my upcoming book, the the cover being designed.
Right.
It's a complete rip off of this one. I mean, the two elements that are the main elements for the cover of my novel. They are nothing to do with what is on this one, but that style is exactly this. And the crazy thing, that is the only thing I can remember about that book.
Okay. All right. Hey, inspiration comes from somewhere,
But I remember really liking that book, so I need to go back and actually reread that.
It is strange, and now that I think about it, like it is bizarre that I don't remember that book because I'm thinking about other books I read around that same time, and I can still remember most of them. I can still remember the first book that I read that was like a book and not like a picture book for kids
Same.
learning to read. The first one that I read that was an actual like book.
What was
I
yours?
can still remember it. Benicula. This is a book about a vampire rabbit. Told from the point of view of the family dog of the family that adapted the vampire rabbit.
I feel so pretentious with what mine is. It's frickin'
Go
The
ahead.
Three Musketeers by Dumas.
Bullshit. How old were you?
10.
Okay, I was 6 is what I was talking about.
No, I was thinking like first real book. I mean, yeah, you got like Goosebumps and things like that.
Yeah, that's what I
Like-
mean. Like that's the thing. Is like this was a book. It was a book that did not have pictures. The first real book is what I'm talking about.
Well, then I guess that's probably, honestly, I don't know, Werewolf in Abominable Snowman in Pasadena, like the Goosebumps book.
Quality, yeah. No, that's a good one. Yeah.
One of those, probably. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Maybe like.
Okay. Yeah.
But no, like the first.
Yeah.
The first like real book is either Where the Red Fern Grows or Three Musketeers.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say,
Trying to
like I'm telling you right now, being a 10-year-old kid looking at the word D'Artagnan, I did not think that word once correctly the entire
No,
time.
yeah, I can see that.
reading
Yeah,
book.
for sure. That would have been difficult for not having it. Yeah. I think for me, if I were to go that big, if I were to go that like massive, like okay, a book for reals, not a kid's book kind of thing, it would have been Stephen King's It.
Oh my god! Oh, that's right. You did tell me. Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah, I prefer mine. Like Three Musketeers is a good read. It's got some rough stuff. It's got some great action. All of this. Where the Red Fern Grows, fantastic first book for a little boy.
Yeah.
Fantastic first book for a little boy. It? The fuck is wrong with you? Well, actually, that actually does explain what's wrong with you a little bit.
I mean, where to begin?
I think we just found the starting line. Oh God!
No, trust me, there was plenty going on before that. Trust me.
We've talked about that particular scene in that book on this channel a couple times. I don't think I can stomach doing it a third time.
No, yeah, we don't need to go into it.
We don't need to be a channel that just talks about that. But still, oh man, what a read for how old? Because you were what, 13?
I think I would have been about 12 or 13, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Hold on, I'm trying to think. Because I remember, I have to kind of like parse my life out in which house was I living in at that time.
I get how that goes.
I was on Carter Street at that time, and so that would have made me, around 11 or 12 years old. Yeah.
Could not. I mean, I watched the movie It when I was 6 years old, so that was bad
which
enough. Huh?
Oh, right. Because there's two It
the
movies,
remake was not out when.
Right. Yeah. I should have realized that the new version of It only like just came out. I should have done the math on that. My apologies.
And it's a good one, man.
I've heard.
Oh yeah,
my kids
you
liked
ain't
it.
watching that.
No.
No, like I gotta say though, man, McAvoy killed it again. I mean, but that was McAvoy, that was Hader, that was that was a top tier cast for the ones who played that. But then you go to the kids, and you got like the kid from Stranger Things,
right?
That, played young Bill Hader.
No, yeah, no. This was one of those things where they knew that they had a real beloved property on their hands. They didn't fuck around with their casting for sure. Yeah.
Do you think that book actually still? No, I don't. We're not talking about that scene. All right, I'm moving on. There was something that you asked me to remind you of. Crystal Skull vodka. I don't know
Oh
why.
yeah.
Okay, you remember.
That was the note from last week that I had written down because we were talking about Dan Aykroyd and we were talking about what is Dan Aykroyd up to,
Okay,
and I
all
said
right, all
Crystal
right.
Skull vodka, and because yeah, I remember when that first became a thing. Have you heard of Crystal Skull vodka, by the way?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, it is a brand of vodka that is sold in a bottle that looks like a crystal skull.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah, no, I've
Yeah.
heard of this.
Remember when it first came out. It was I can't remember how the video got sent to me or what. I was in China at the time, and it was like basically because I didn't realize Dan Aykroyd is a partial owner in this company. I don't
Hmm.
know how big of an
Okay.
owner or investor or what, but he basically, for all intents and purposes, he kind of owns Crystal Skull Vodka. And so when it came out, he basically did an infomercial for it where he talked about both the quality of the vodka and the legend of the Crystal Skull together as one, like one thing, basically like describing the legend of the Crystal Skull and how that legend influenced the making of the vodka. And this video was 15 minutes long
Oh, good God, dude.
and it was not funny. There was no jokes. I'm sitting here watching Dan Aykroyd sell Crystal Skull vodka influenced by the ancient, Crystal Skull legend, and he's not making any jokes whatsoever. He's seriously trying to sell it
Yeah,
to
I've
you.
seen a few
It
clips of him when he popped up on Joe Rogan, and that is not the
mhm.
Dan Aykroyd I remember, man.
Yeah, it was very very surreal to yeah. But it was like later on, it kind of played in like as later on I would hear things like, the original version of Ghostbusters was very different, because apparently Dan Aykroyd believes in all that stuff. So he actually had a much different original script for
Oh
Ghostbusters that was
yeah,
a
I
little bit
remember
close
that.
to an actual concept of ghost hunting, which apparently is like it comes from his family. He's like, yeah, no, I come from a long line of ghost hunters, and he like genuinely believes in all that stuff, and that was his influence of wanting to do Ghostbusters in the first place. So like he is very very much steeped into that whole like arcane world type thing very seriously, not ironically, not as a joke. He genuinely believes in all of it,
Well, I wasn't
and
thinking it
and
was a
that has
joke or anything like that.
yeah.
Like all the research that I've done for Ryuki's Way, which by the way is my upcoming novel, Docs is Modus Operandi, written by Jonathan Ems, which is his real name. We gotta plug our actual products every once in a while because there's nothing. I mean, we're
Well,
terrible at
normally
marketing, dude.
we really are. What most people do in this situation is that we actually have a produced show that will show slides of the things we're talking about. Like, every once in a while, a picture of my book would show up next to my head or something like that. Like that's what we're supposed to be
Ah,
doing in this
yes.
situation. Not just talking to each other on a blank screen. We're supposed to have graphics and sound effects and stuff like that. Like
Hey,
right now we
it
have an
says the after hour. It's not just a
right.
blank screen. I put
We
some
have a
effort into
nicely
this.
the subscribe button is nicely animated, but that's about it. Like we have no flash on this show.
Eh, It's it's coming. Flash is it's in the mail. Eh. Just what old Jack Burton says. Yes, sir, the check is in the mail.
Whoa, wow. Hold on. Let me think here. It has been 16 episodes since we saw, and that's how long it's been 16 episodes since we saw Big Trouble. You waited that long for a Jack Burton reference. Brad, I'm proud of your stout resistance to the urge. Because I know you've been wanting to make a Jack Burton reference every episode since.
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I love that character. I love it. And actually, speaking of my book, that is something that movie actually, I think, kind of inspired how I wrote this story.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Because what I did when I was writing that story is I chose a main character with a background that I didn't know that much about. So as the reader is learning the main character, I'm learning the main character as well, and I'm learning. But every side character, all of the like the background characters, all this, those are the characters I know so well that as soon
Mm,
as they pop into the story, they feel right at home.
okay.
The way
Very
Big
cool.
Trouble in Little China was put together was we followed not the main character.
Oh, right. Yeah. We are following Jack Burton, who's in over his head, and everybody else there. They all know exactly who everyone is, what's going on. He's just stumbling through, and we're stumbling with him. Yeah.
Yeah, and everything that he is learning in passing, like there is exposition dump on that movie, but the way that he finds these things out is just too funny. Like, what's
Yeah.
in there? Magic juice? Yep. Gonna make us stronger? Yep. What do we do? Drink it? Yep. Awesome. Like, that's fantastic. In
Yeah.
another movie, you would have this guy talking about this for like 5 minutes about where the mystic juice like was made from elderberries that fell from a tree that was intact on a comet. Like this, you don't need it.
Dude, if that's not from something, write that the fuck down. That was good.
What?
That was
Huh? What?
berries from a tree that came down intact on a comet. Are you kidding me? That's genius. Write that down right now.
I,
I'm not kidding. I'm not joking, man. Do it.
All right. uh,
I'd drink that juice. Are you kidding me?
Berries on a tree that filmed out. What did I say?
Berries from a tree that came down intact on a comet.
All right. All right. When I see that note later on, I'm not gonna have any idea what the hell that was.
Oh man, don't get me started. I got so many of those. I just
That's
found
it.
one earlier today. When I was looking through my notebook just now, I found one. I'm like, where the? I have here in quotes. There's quotes around there, so I think I'm quoting someone or something. But it says, "I'm gonna stay up and think weird thoughts."
That
I don't know what that's from. I don't know why I
that's
wrote that down.
that sounds like something the moody lady at the at the bar, like what you used to say, like the brooding guy.
Oh right, yeah,
No, that's something that I could see the goth chick saying. No, you
yeah.
guys,
Okay.
you go ahead. I'm gonna stay up here and think dark thoughts. Oh no, you said weird thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stay up, as in like not go to sleep. I'm gonna stay up and think weird thoughts. I'm
Oh
pretty
my
sure that's
god.
what that is.
I don't know why. I don't know why this is what just came to mind. But I was driving to the chiropractor on one time, like when I was back in Portland. It's like the only time I've ever been
Hmm.
to the chiropractor. And I crossed, like driving. There was a woman with Beetlejuice style leggings, a multicolored tutu, fingerless gloves, and a full on like burly flannel. Like not like looking cute type flannel to match anything that she had going on. This
Right.
was like a Carhartt thing. And I was just like, the fuck is the city?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Because I think I was only there for like 3 months at that point. And now that I'm thinking about it, that might have been around the time of the naked bike ride.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Did you ever
Oh,
partake in that?
I did not. No, it always snuck up on me. Every time that it happened, I didn't realize it was happening until it was going by my house, and I was like, "What the? Oh, right.
First time, I was like, there's a buttload of just naked people cruising right down the street. And I remember I rushed back into the house and I was like, guys! And I was
Right.
like thinking I was Paul Revere, just like spreading the news that nobody had ever thought could happen. And they're like, oh yeah, you want to borrow my bike? Like,
Right.
I had no idea what was happening.
Yeah, you know, it was crazy is that there was like a 5 year span there where it seemed like it was following me because I kept moving and going to like different parts of the city, and then it would go past my house like every time like they because it had a different route every year, and somehow I kept ending up living on the route of that year's naked bike ride. And I'm like, how does this keep happening?
What was it? Hawthorne? Is that what you guys live
Hawthorne
by?
was the last one. Yeah, that was the
Yeah,
last one.
I think they did that road like 3 years running.
Okay. I was only there for one of them.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how many years I was there, but I just keep remembering people saying that they're the bike like they're going down Hawthorne, and I'm like,
Hawthorne
why
is
don't they
also
do
one of
this
those.
on a warmer month? That is the biggest question I had as soon as I found out that that was a, multi-gendered type of activity.
Right, yeah.
I had questions over how certain anatomy
The
would be secure in that situation.
the point was to make sure things didn't get out of hand. So the cold was actually helpful in that regard. Because keeping in mind,
You can be
in the
naked in
city of
Oregon, but you cannot be turned on.
exactly, yes, nudity, yeah, public nudity is only acceptable as long as it's not in a sexual manner, and it doesn't take a lot to change that condition out of our control. And so,
No,
a nice
no, I
cold
was
breeze to keep things steady is kind of a
yeah,
godsend in that regard.
I was on Savi's Island, and I got in a little bit of almost got in a, no, and I mean nobody would have said anything or like that, but I was hanging out with my at the time girlfriend
Mm-hmm.
and our at the time roommate
Mm-hmm.
and our at the time
Oh,
roommate. Yes, you
yeah,
remember
I
this
remember
person.
her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was she asked if I could like the sunscreen, the lotion thing. Like it was that like scenario, and I am not mature
Yeah, no.
enough. That is not that I don't. There is
Yep.
nope. Mm-mm. The look on my girlfriend's face, and I looked at her. I was like, no, you can't.
Yep.
You could have taken the bottle and done this, but you knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I accepted the challenge and I failed, but you knew.
Right. Yeah. No, I would never would have. Because here's the thing, and I don't know. I think I may have told you this before. I don't know if I've ever said it in public,
We're
but
live on the air. Just
yeah,
reminding you.
maybe I should hold on. Nah, this ain't that bad.
Okay, all
Um,
right.
you know how when you're 13, 14, you're going through puberty, and it seems like things happen for no reason whatsoever.
Sure. Yeah.
That never went away for me. That's been my
That
life. That's been my whole life.
it doesn't seem like the worst thing in
Oh,
certain
it's not.
circumstances, but then like I think back to it.
But it's also the reason why I never go to nude beaches or partake in the naked bike ride. So
Oh, okay. See,
yeah.
I had that fear when I was like first few times out of the nude beach, especially these like this group of people came up asking me if I wanted to play volleyball. And I love playing volleyball. So I was just let's go. And then I realized I was naked.
Mm.
And
Oh,
then I started playing volleyball and it completely exited my mind. Nothing came up. Everything's were bouncing all around and all that, but after a couple rounds it became like the most normal thing.
huh. Okay.
No,
Interesting.
like I share that fear. Obviously, I think every
Hmm.
guy shares that fear, which is why a lot of guys don't go to nude beaches.
Right.
But I mean, it's not a sexually charged environment. Like
But that's
that
kind of my
like
issue. Is it doesn't need to be for me.
no, like the nude beaches that I've been to, yes, I have seen extraordinarily good-looking men and women. Not what I'm talking about. But it's not a sexually charged situation at
Okay.
all. Like you have more people hitting on people in coffee shops than you have people hitting on people on nude beaches.
Okay. Well, I mean that's good.
Because
I mean it's good that it's a secure situation like that. That's good. Yeah.
I gotta say, like I was nervous going out there because, growing up in North Dakota, very conservative type of environment, all that, especially too cold to ever have any situation like that happen.
Yeah.
So going out there, I was very curious, and I'm like, no, no, no. This is a. You can't say it that way. No, you gotta. This is a hump I want to get over.
Okay. All right.
My
I'm
brain
gonna
does
respect
mean
that for
things,
now.
but it's also funny. I gotta
Right.
do it. No, but like as soon as I found out, like I'm on a beach right over that, like this, like stump, like they had like this, like felt. You've been out there, you know. There's like a tree that's fallen down that you have to kind of go over, and that separates the nude side from the family side.
Oh, okay.
So like I went over there, and at first I'm like I wanted to go over, and they're like, yeah, you can just walk. You don't have to be naked. And I'm like, no, I have to be naked. I can't.
It's a matter of
I
respect.
I cannot go and spend time around people who are laying that kind of vulnerability out there and just like, you know, people watch.
Right.
Like
Yeah. Exactly.
if I'm not part of it as well. And that's what I did. Got naked, left my shorts with my again, you know, at the time. And I just started walking. And as I was walking, I just started talking to everybody. That was the friendliest beach I have ever been in my entire life.
Huh. Okay.
No, that was, you had families going, kids running around. Like, it is not a sexually charged environment. Like, it,
Hmm.
it just isn't.
Okay.
And I'm really, and the reason I'm kind of like really kind of like vigorous on this is because I'm really happy for the like with myself on the fact that I got over that, because that was a mental block, something that I always thought was weird, something that I always thought, you know, X, Y, and Z. But I'm like, no, 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 just go do it. Just go experience it. Find out that it is not weird. Do not let this be a fear.
Okay. Yeah, I can respect that. Sure.
No, and you are so close to Savi's Island compared to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's. But like I said, like that fear, everything that you're talking about right there, that is, yeah. Weirdly. Now I'm thinking about this. Weirdly, that's kind of when that stopped for me.
Ah. Okay. Interesting.
The fear went away. The thought, like, of thinking about it, I don't want to think about it anymore. I never think about it.
Okay.
It's the being. I think it's the being aware of it. It's the fear of something happening that kind of like spurs something like that up.
I mean, probably, but it's. I mean, like I said, it's like, it's just always without warning. That's the thing. It's like, here's
Man, that
here's
just
the
reminds me of high school and like having to tuck it up into the belt to walk to the next class.
that's the thing. That's my life, bro. That's what I'm talking about. It never went away.
Oh, that sounds like a nightmare, man. I feel bad.
I've learned to live with it. What can I say? You know.
I mean, yeah. Like I said, there are worse situations. There could be the opposite situation.
There you go. Yeah.
Like, nah, I mean, take your blessings. I think that just means you got healthy blood flow, man. Good
I'm
for you.
hoping. Yeah. You know.
What the fuck is this conversation? Maybe we do need structured conversation.
Right. Yeah. Well, you
Oh
know,
no,
I
this
think.
is that pairs up perfectly with the last thing that I actually had written up for the after hour.
Oh, okay.
We're all fucked up in different ways.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, we were talking about that before because like the way that we wake up is so phenomenally different that it just kind of explains a lot about
Yeah.
personality.
We were talking about that just a couple weeks ago. Yeah. That wasn't on the air though. Yeah. We were discussing how we our approach to daily life, and how like nothing we do is healthy, but like in very different ways. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, where you were talking about, like, it takes you 4 paragraphs for a character to get out of bed. For
Yeah.
me, that character never even got out of bed. That character is already on their day doing their thing. But and you describe that when you wake up, it takes you a while to kind of talk yourself like into getting out of bed. That
Right.
is not for me. I wake up an hour before my alarm clock, and I am doing everything I can. Like, you don't need to be thinking about that right now. You don't need to be thinking about that right now. You don't need to, like, just stop. And then
Yeah.
finally, it's like, nope, time to get up. Get up, start working on something because sleep is gone.
Yeah.
No, like, but that mentality that prompts me to get a crazy amount of things done. Uh, a lot of editing, a lot of writing, a lot of just all the things I got to do.
Hmm.
But it also prompts a crash.
Yes, yeah, and I have noticed that. Yes, I am crazy jealous at your ability to just, when you decide to do something, you just start doing it. Apparently, that's one of the things,
I bet you're
since
not
being
envious over the crashes, though.
no, yeah, I've talked you through two of them now. I think where and yeah, no, they don't look like fun at all for sure. But yeah, that
No,
was one of
that's
those
yeah.
that was one of those things. Recently being diagnosed with ADD, I come to find out that that's an ADD thing. That whole like having to talk myself into doing everything, including just getting the hell out of bed. Apparently, that is an ADD thing, and yeah. Um, so it's like, okay, well, I'm glad that's answered. I wish the pills were working. They're not yet. So,
It's about getting the right cocktail or whatever, right?
apparently so, yeah. And there's other therapy things I probably should be doing that I'm not, things
Oh,
outside of just
yeah.
medication,
Well, yeah. Like
because
once
I
you
have to.
know what you're dealing with, they kind of have a roadmap for getting things better. Which, yeah, once you get the diagnosis, that's a really good thing because you can get to work on that work.
Hmm.
But I
Yep.
guess when the whole prospect is that it's hard to do the work, yeah, I
That's the
can.
thing is like, yeah, it's like there's a service I can sign up for that'll help coach me through it, and it's affordable and I can do it. All I got to do is sign
Nice.
up for it. All I got to do is sign up for it. All I got to do is sign up for it.
Yeah. See, that's one of those things that because I have the opposite problem. It's like, all right, I got to do the work. Here we go. I got to sign up for this and then we're going to start doing the work. I sign up for it. Let's do the work. Well, you have to like it's a weekly thing. We got to it's going to be this, it's going to be this. It's like, no, 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 no. Let's do the work.
Right.
Like no, it's every time that I found something like that about me out, it's a few more books. I'm reading on this. I'm checking this
Hmm.
out. I'm learning about this, and I'm like, all right, now I know. Now I can work on it. Now I can find the answer. Now that I can do this, how come I don't feel better yet?
Mm. Yep.
Constantly chasing that answer, but the reality is, and this is like the full-on reality for my stuff. For me to actually feel good and just be okay, I just gotta stop.
Mm.
I gotta stop long enough to just let everything settle. I gotta let everything process. I gotta let everything catch up. I gotta actually deal with everything. But
Oh yeah.
just like where
Oh
you have that thing, like certain things you can't start, I just can't stop.
yeah. That actually reminds me. That was why I was thinking about the nomad thing again. About the whole. This was why, because it was something that I was talking to you about, and I kept meaning to bring it up, and I kept forgetting. And what it was like, because you've been really stressed. You've been pretty stressed the last few weeks. I'm sure even the viewers are aware we've been a little inconsistent with our releases
A little bit.
because things have been a little stressful. Um, and it occurred to me. I remembered this thing that I heard on NPR years ago, decades ago. Pretty sure it still applies though. And it was a study that was done on life's greatest stressors, on the things that cause the most stress in humans. And the conclusion of the study was that it was a three-way tie. Three things tied for first place on inherently cause the most stress to the human brain.
What
And
are
they
they
are the,
between?
the death of a close loved one,
Mm-hmm.
divorce, and moving.
2 out of 3.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, and
Hey,
and
two
that's
out
the
of
thing. It's
three
like
ain't
that's what
bad.
got that's what got me thinking about the whole like, whoa, we didn't used to like be so connected to our homes, but yeah, I guess we are now. And that was as I kept. That's the thing is I kept meaning to bring up to you, like, because not only have you been stressed, but you've also been stressed about being stressed. Like I've seen you go into a cycle in your head about how you think you shouldn't be as stressed out as you are, and so I wanted to let you know, no, actually, Brad, you are exactly as stressed as you should be because you literally have taken 2 of the top 3 hits. Okay. And so, no, you're fine. You're good. Everything that you're going through right now is perfectly valid. You should just, and yes, like you said, to stop and let yourself go through the shit you're going through. So that's what I want. I wanted to tell you that last week. I don't know why I forgot, but yes. And that's what took me around to the whole like nomad thing that I did end up thinking about talking about first for some reason, even though that was where it came from.
That is
Aliens?
really solid. You know that thing where you have a shadow go right across a light, and then you see the shadow on the opposite wall, and then you look over to see the thing, and you can't see it,
Oh yeah.
and you're just terrified that it's like a tarantula
Or
that
something. Yeah.
like all of a sudden like might be just on the other side of that hanging pot 2 feet away from my face.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I saw something big enough to create a shadow on the other wall. And I just want to know what the hell it was.
Bro,
that's a very unnerving thing.
Here was one of my big nightmares of real life. Visiting my grandma's house out in the middle of the desert, like literal actual middle of nowhere in the desert, out in the middle of Idaho. And I remember trying to sleep on her couch once, and in the middle of the night, I can't sleep, everything's quiet, and I hear a rustling noise. A little rustle. And I'm like, what is that? And I'm sitting up in bed. I'm like, where is it coming from? Rustle. Just little rustling noise. And I'm just like, oh, okay, that's it. I'm turning on the light. I turn on the light and I'm looking around the room. I can't see anything until finally I do catch some movement in the corner of my eye that matches the rustling noise. And you know what it was? A common house spider walking on the carpet. That's how fucking quiet it was out there in the middle of nowhere, that the sound of a common house spider walking on common household carpet was loud enough to wake me up.
That is wow.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem real. That seems like you woke up from woke up and then like saw something and explained your dream. There's no way, like, really?
I stand by the full reality of this. Yes. Because it was so damn quiet out there in the middle of the desert that the sound of a spider on carpet echoed through the silence.
Number one, that is wild.
Yeah.
That is just wild. All right. Well, I want to thank our viewers for joining us for tonight. We picked up a couple subscribers, so if
lovely.
You're with
Thank
us
you for
now,
joining us.
Thank you for joining us. As I said on the main show, we will be back on next Thursday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. From now until then, stay safe and stay sane.
We almost have enough subscribers for me to just ask them to come up with a sign off for me. Why do the work myself?
Yeah. Hey, I just accidentally did into mine. It worked out for me.
Yeah, no, that worked.
Right.
I can still say the one that keeps getting stuck in my head that I know that I don't want to use.
That's the one from Mystery Science Theater, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you want me to say it? Yes or no?
A little bit.
Stay pink, soft, and oily, everyone.